how does the composition classroom look different today than it did 15 years ago, and how does that impact course design? I think this is a really important question because composition used to be something where you'd teach a set form, a certain kind of essays, and you'd have to teach a distinct process to follow and build that. And now, with technology and the way students write now, they have to essentially design the form that they're going to be writing in. And this requires a whole different set of skills. So I think this is an excellent question that'll help impact how classrooms function in composition.
So my project is looking at online college algebra students and looking at why the drop rate is so much higher in online college algebra as compared to other college algebra classes as well as other online classes in general, and looking to see if there's anything as an instructor I could do or the college could do as a whole to help improve this success rate.
So my research question is the effect on student participation in an introductory accounting class. Now it's important to student learning because I truly believe that every student's capable of learning any class they put their mind to. And there's this whole mentality of a bell curve going on. There has to be a certain amount of A's, a certain amount of F's, a lot of B's and C's, but I truly believe that everyone's capable of getting an A. And I'm thinking that student participation might be one of those aspects that has a key feature behind students succeeding. I don't know if it's too much participation, too little, or somewhere in between, but that's the important part of this question.
What are the roadblocks to students becoming effective researchers? Do they have problems with understanding evidence? Do they not understand keywords or alternate words? Do they have problems articulating the questions? Do they know the difference between different types of sources? So these are some of the questions that I think prevent students from becoming effective researchers.
I think the greatest takeaway for me was switching from a quantitative method to a qualitative method. In the quantitative method, I would always, I've done research like that before, and I would look at, I'd be aiming towards the numbers, you know, at the end of the course, what numbers did I get, and then I'd write from that. And now with the qualitative method, there's a much more of a focus on what I'm doing as I teach, using the journals to understand, and I think it changes my focus from outcomes to process of my teaching.
I guess the greatest takeaway from assessment phase 2, I had no idea how this whole research thing works. I figured, okay, now that you have your degrees and all that, you sit still and then just do your job. But the science is there's all this unknown stuff out there. There's all these unknown biases, all these unknown realms that you haven't dug into. And it's almost infinite. And all we've got to do for this assessment academy is take a piece of that unknown and then bring it down and put something on it that relates to math, relates to science, and something we can actually use over and over again. And there's so much opportunity to delve into that unknown that there's really no wrong way to go about doing research. I think that was my biggest takeaway. The research will never stop because there will always be something unknown about teaching and tactics, things like that.
I never considered teaching, what we all do every day, as a platform for research. And as I was reading through the book, Teaching as Research, I was comparing my research question to the questions that the other researchers were working through, and it gave me the confidence that I could use what I do every day as a platform.
I think the two biggest challenges for me were journaling. I've never really journaled about my teaching before, and it took me a little while to get used to what to write, what topics to follow, but eventually I found some pretty good patterns that helped me focus my journals and make some pretty good insights. And then the other challenge was I'm usually researching something that I feel like I've gotten perfect, and in this case I'm researching something that I'm trying to make perfect. So that was the biggest challenges for me.
I think the biggest challenge for any project like this is always just time, trying to balance the regular requirements of a teaching schedule and then finding the extra time to collect data and talk to colleagues and things like that. So even when you've got a question you want the answer to, finding the time to actually walk through those steps.
Composing the right assignments that will spotlight the roadblocks and solve the problems that students face in researching.